I don't know about y'all, but this comic book, Ultimate Black Panther #1, was extremely hard to get. I was super excited to read it, but I did not know that so many other people were that hype. Thank you, Johnathan Hickman with Ultimate Spider-Man. But yeah, I know this sold out before 10 a.m., I believe, at Midtown Comics in NYC. And I really do hope that all the Black Panther fans were able to get their hands on the physical copy, especially with the original cover. But anyways, let's get into Ultimate Black Panther. All right, to talk about anything having to do with the ultimate story arc that we have right now, we have to talk about the Maker. Now, I am definitely working on a video to explain in depth who he is, but for right now, understand that he is a alternate version of Reed Richards, who's evil. And he goes by the name the Maker now. He uses time travel to create his ideal Earth, mainly to prevent anyone from becoming a superhero. So in this Ultimate Universe, Thor isn't King of Asgard, Tony is still a kid, he's Iron Lad. This Earth's Reed Richards is Doctor Doom. Yeah, a lot of stuff is mixed up. It's not what we're used to seeing in the 616 universe. Now, the Maker has been locked up in a place called the City, and in his absence, his council has continued to spread their influence on the world, with what looks like the avatars of ancient Egyptian gods Ra and Khonshu establishing their control of the continent of Africa. You can see by this map, the council has most of the world in their control, except for this small dot pretty much in the heart of Africa. I do think it's cool that even in this ultimate universe that the Maker has designed himself, Wakanda won't be found unless they want to be found. And I think that's dope. I like that. The story opens up with the avatars of Ra and Khonshu laying waste and taking control of a town in West Africa. As this is happening, two spies from Wakanda are witnessing the hostile takeover. One stops the other from intervening, saying, "We cannot act," reminding his partner that they are to bring the truth to their king. Their last glimpses of a little boy crying with the scene of the town burning behind him. His partner reassures him that the enemy's time will come and they will know the justice of Wakanda. King T'Challa wakes up from a nightmare out of his sleep. Here we're introduced to his wife, Queen Okoye. Now, I knew there would be some newness introduced in Ultimate Black Panther. I just didn't have Okoye becoming queen on my bingo card. But I like that, and I'll explain why in a second. So, T'Challa marrying Adora, I believe this follows the old ways of Wakanda, where the king would have one of the Dora Milaje become his wife. In the 616 universe, T'Chaka is the king to change this when he meets scientist Inyami. They fall in love, they get married, she becomes his wife, she's the queen, they have a child, T'Challa. For anyone that's probably confused or based everything on the MCU, Ramonda is actually T'Challa's stepmother in the comics, not his biological mother. Going back to Queen Okoye, I think, personally, it's a nice fit. She's a well-respected warrior who can match T'Challa's tactical brilliance. I think it also helps that she's grown up in Wakanda. So there's a love, respect, and understanding of the culture that doesn't have to be taught or explained. It's just understood. He's understood. She's also not the type to just agree for the sake of agreeing, even as Adora. The only thing that I'm really curious about is this a work obligation type deal, or did she choose T'Challa out of love? Maybe we'll find out later. Making our way to the Citadel of Knowledge, we meet King T'Chaka. Remember, in T'Challa's comic book 616 universe origin, his father is killed by Claw when T'Challa is still a young child. Now we see T'Chaka as an older man, able to counsel his son who is king. T'Chaka asks his son about the dreams he's having. T'Challa brushes it off, saying that they are only dreams. His father responds by suggesting that the gods are attempting to speak with him and that he is plagued because he will not listen. He also advises T'Challa to speak to the divine mother of the Vadu Khan. Think of them as oracles of Wakanda, priestesses who provide advice and prophecy from the gods. T'Challa doesn't trust them. His father tells him he shouldn't, but to respect and recognize their power and to hide his intentions. Keep them close while you decide their fate.
One should only know they are an enemy of the king after they have been destroyed.
When T'Challa approaches the temple, he is greeted by the matron Amala, the sacred mother of the Vadukan. She speaks of the dreams that trouble him and asks what has he learned from them. T'Challa responds that he learns from books, not dreams, while also expressing his distrust for the priestess. Amala explains that since the birth of Wakanda, the Vadukan has served his kingdom and its kings. To show the current king that their connection to the gods is used to benefit and protect Wakanda, Amala tells T'Challa that the Vadukan have sensed enemies in the mist, both inside and outside the kingdom walls. Amala continues by saying T'Challa's dreams are a warning to him, that the gods are on his side, but they can be fickle. This may be some form of foreshadowing or teasing the greater conflict between Bas, Khonshu, and Ra. These gods are siblings, so a squabble every now and then is expected. But this time it looks like Khonshu and Ra have taken things too far. T'Challa's main concern with the Vadukan is that he believes their moves are based in superstition and fear. Amala asks T'Challa not to choose fear, but to choose awareness. Later, spies Foxhole and Anan recant what they saw in the nearby village. When offering to round up a group of warriors and Dora Milaje to investigate and avenge the said village, T'Challa says, "I take information from spies, not strategy. You are dismissed." After they leave, Shuri and T'Challa engage in a back and forth. Shuri feels the pain of the nearby villages and wants to provide relief. She wants the full might of Wakanda to act now. T'Challa is reserved, calculated. He plans to act, but not in the way that leads Wakanda headfirst into war. The discussion ends when Queen Okoye intervenes, taking her husband's side and explaining his stance. Shuri dismisses herself. As she walks away, Okoye lets T'Challa know that she only agrees with him because this time he was right. If he wasn't, she would have spoken differently. She also informs him of the influence that the Dora may have on Shuri. She informs T'Challa that the Dora want a war and that they want Shuri's genius inventions to help. The only people that fear peace are soldiers, for in peace they have no purpose. Okoye reminds T'Challa of her and Shuri's love for him while acknowledging the hard choices he is faced with. Every day T'Challa spends planning, another village is raided and slaughtered. But there are more heroes in Africa outside of the Black Panther. The mysterious stranger. Alright, let's cut it. This is Killmonger. We know it's Killmonger. We see it's Killmonger. That's Eric. It's Njadaka. He's here.
Didn't expect to see you here.
Look, it's me. I'm here. Deal with it. Let's move on.
I just
Drop it. Killmonger saves a child from getting murdered by Khonshu's forces. He then calls on his love to bless the rest of the army oppressing the village. He also has a really dope axe that he throws and recalls. Makes me want to play God of War Ragnarok all over again. At the annual celebration of life, T'Challa greets his people at the Golden City. During his speech, an assassination attempt on his life nearly takes place, if not for the swift action of T'Chaka. T'Challa would have died. His reflexes are quick, cat-like. His suit forms around his body way before he touches the ground. He calls a meeting with the Queen, Shuri, and the Vadukan. Our enemy calls themselves Moon Knight. Wakanda is at war. Alright, so quick thoughts before we end this. The suit. The suit is very different, his ultimate suit. And the first thing I noticed was that his cowl is open. And I was wondering, are they paying homage to Jack Kirby's original design plans for his early depictions of T'Challa as the Black Panther? If so, this is extremely dope. Well done. Another thing, it looks like the Dora Milaje may be working with Ra and Khonshu in order to get the war they want. Now, I'm not saying every beautiful, bald black woman in Wakanda is a Dora, but I think they're working with the enemy, which supports what Amala was saying when she told T'Challa that there are enemies inside and outside the kingdom walls. Going back to Ultimate Universe issue 1, it seems like T'Challa has already been active in fighting and gathering intel about Ra and Khonshu himself. This is pretty on brand for T'Challa. He doesn't share his plans unless he feels he absolutely needs to. And trust me, he has plans for everything. But yeah, that's Ultimate Black Panther and a couple of my thoughts. I'm very curious to see where this goes and how like Ultimate X-Men links in with the rest of the series overall. It's gonna be pretty cool to see what happens. Very excited for issue 2. Appreciate y'all for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. I plan to try to follow this story arc as best as I can, so I'll see y'all next video. Peace.